What's the recommended daily allowance for sugar, added sugar? And what do you do if you and or your children you feel are consuming too much? What are some tips? So what I'm doing now is a series about sugar, and on this particular one I want to talk about some recommendations, tips you can use to kind of move your way away from that without causing a riot in your home or, being miserable, because that's not the point. My name is Dr. Vicki Peterson, and what the American Heart Association says and the World Health Organization says is that sugar should not exceed about 5% of our calories, and that's about 25 grams, they estimate. If you're trying to think in teaspoons, although ingredient labels definitely show grams, so you can add those up over the day, but 4 grams equals 1 teaspoon. So we're looking at about 6 teaspoons per day. And those 25 grams can go pretty quickly. Just to give you some hidden sources, I have them written down here. Pasta sauce can be 12 grams in a cup, granola bar can be 12. Fruit sweetened oatmeal, fruit flavored oatmeal can be close to 20. Ditto fruit flavored yogurt can be 33. And so it can go very, very fast. Energy drinks can be the full day's allowance right there. 1 energy drink, 25 grams. So it's really important to start looking at those added sugars. One nice thing that's happening this year is that there's been a mandate to distinguish on the ingredient labels what is added sugar, because that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about the natural sugar contained in tomato or some fruit, so you're getting a bar that has some dates or raisins or something like that. So we're not talking about natural sugar occurring within a whole food, but we're talking about added sugar, and that's what we're trying to limit, because that's really the problem. So the labeling law is clearing that up instead of just saying total sugars, because I had patients come in and say, well, you said these kind of bars are healthy, but look at the sugars. And it's like, yeah, but there's absolutely 0 added sugar. You're talking about dates or raisins or apricots or something like that. So there really is a difference there between fruit and added sugar. So the new labeling law is going to make it much easier, because it's going to have that distinction of the addition of sugar. So that's a good thing to note. And another thing that I like to use with my patients is to kind of do a little experiment. You can do it on yourself or you can do it with your children, and that is find a piece of fruit that's just delicious, where you have it and you're like, oh, it tastes like candy, whether it's a strawberry in summer or, what have you, a really sweet apple, anything that you and or your child really likes to eat, and just say, is this sweet? And it's like, yeah, this is really sweet. It's delicious. Good. Okay. Now let's have a cookie. And you eat a cookie, or you have a couple of bites of a candy bar. I don't encourage this. This is just an experiment, okay? It's just to make a point. So you have a couple of bites of the candy bar, and then you go back to the exact same apple, and you'll find it does not taste sweet anymore. It might even taste sour. And so the moral of the story here and the lesson is that sweet is relative, and the less sugar we have, these added sugars in our diet, will appreciate the sweet of real food, and actually your sweet taste goes up, meaning you're more sensitive to sweet, versus people who eat a lot of added sugar. Nothing really tastes good to them unless, people drink Coca-Cola or Pepsi or what have you. They drink a ton of sodas. There's like nothing sweet enough, because there's so many grams of sugar in just 1 can of soda, and that's what they're used to. So for them, fruit doesn't taste good, right? Because they have that elevated and kind of aberrated sweet. So this can really show you and your children the difference, and so you can say, yeah, you really appreciated that apple before you ate the candy bar. So we're going to, do less and less of the added sugar and really appreciate the delicious sweet of real food. So we're not losing the treat of sweet. We're just trying to get more away from the added sugars, which are dangerous. And I went over those dangers in earlier videos. So there's a whole series of about 4 videos on this topic, so you can check those out as well. And when you're trying to reduce sugar, There's certainly looking at the labels and then finding foods that have less of the added sugars. That's a good idea, because like the pasta sauce is an example. I had that written down. There was anywhere from like 6 to 12 grams in a cup. So of course, find a brand that has less, or make your own if that's possible. When you're baking, try baking with bananas, mashed up bananas, or applesauce, or date sugar. Now, date sugar is just literally ground up dates, so it's still a whole food, if you will. It's not put through any process where there's no fiber, and you can find that out, as I did when I put it in a cup of tea, and my tea actually got thick. So it's not really so good for tea, but that's how I knew that for sure nothing had been done to it other than grinding it up, because all the fiber was still there, which is really what you want. But when you're doing a baked good, you can definitely do that, or fresh dates. And so if you want some ideas, here at Root Cause on the website, rootcausemedical.com, we have hundreds of recipes. A lot of them are desserts, and they're very healthy. There's 0 added sugar in any of them, so you can get some ideas. And I wanted to tell you something else that's interesting about taste buds. So there was a study that came out that said that children that had a lot of exposure to sugar early in life, that their taste buds actually don't develop correctly. Now, this is not to cry over spilt milk, but for those of you who have little ones, or about to have little ones, or grandparents who are about to have little ones, it's really important that the parents know this, because you can literally be setting up your child for kind of a failure to enjoy healthy food the whole rest of their lives, literally because all that sugar prevents the taste buds from maturing, which was a fascinating study. And then I realized I actually saw a real life example of this. A young man, he was in his late 20s in our church, and I just noticed how he never ate a single vegetable. And I'm one to kind of mother everyone I meet. And so I was like, hey, why don't you try some broccoli, or why don't you try some this? And he said, no, I hate vegetables. And I was like, did you ever have them as a child? And he said, no, my parents told me I would hate vegetables as a kid, and that hopefully when I got older, I'd like them. So I never even tried them as a kid. And I thought, oh boy. So he was a classic example of even something, and I, then made an effort to try to see, if he could enjoy something. I'm like, how about this? How about this? And everything tasted horribly to him. So that's certainly a mistake we would love to avoid. So tell everyone who's about to have a little one, or does have early on, let's get away from all that added sugar, not only from the health perspective, but from their enjoyment of healthy food the rest of their lives. What else did I want to tell you? Basically that big changes can make, big changes are achieved with little steps. So in other words, small steps toward this will really make big health changes. So you don't have to dramatically just say, there's 0 sugar in this house. Go gradiently. If your child is really addicted to a super sweet cereal, you can start with adding maybe 25% of, like, say it's a crispy, a Rice Krispie kind of thing, but it's really, really sweet. You can add just a plain Rice Krispie that has 0 sugar to it. So you're like diluting it. It's almost like diluting fruit juice, which is another strategy. So you can dilute the fruit juice and then get them off of that. The American Academy of Pediatrics said that children under 1 should have 0 fruit juice, and we really concur in all ages. Our whole motto here is drink water, eat fruit. Don't drink fruit, because there's just so much sugar once you take away all that fiber. Now, is it added sugar? No, it can be 100% fruit juice, but realize like a little box that a child can drink of like apple juice is about 4 to 5 apples. There's no way that size child is going to sit and eat that many apples. So it's just in excess. So you want to have them eat the fresh fruit, you cut up an apple, and drink water. So that's the whole approach on that. And what else did I want to tell you? I think that was it. So hopefully these tips were very helpful. Do know that as an adult, in 3 days of 0 sugar, your sweet tooth is basically gone if you can just not indulge again. So it happens really, really fast. But with kids, you just don't want to come down on mandating this, well, that's it, starting today, 0 sugar, and then they're over at the neighbors, eating their cookie jar. So you don't want that. So you want to do it gradiently, and you want to keep finding things that they enjoy, and then you will find that they'll start to enjoy healthier and healthier. So we see it all the time here at the clinic, and really this is a video for you as an adult and children both. And let me know what you do with this and how you find these tips to be helpful, hopefully. And if you did like this video, share it with others. If your health or the health of your child is not the way you want it to be, please reach out for a consultation. The telephone number here is 408-733-0400. You can also contact us on the website, which is rootcausemedical.com. We're really all about helping you and your child to regain your health, and that's not really hard, honestly. We have the tools, that's what we do here, and for the most part, we use 0 medication. What we're really known for is getting people off medication. So it's exciting, it's wonderful to feel ideally healthy. I want that for everyone. I especially want it for our children, because unfortunately the current generation is estimated to live less long and be less healthy, which really is a shame because there's no reason it has to be that way. So it was great talking to you today, and I look forward to seeing you soon.